Welcome back to the show. You're watching Morning Live. As promised before the break, South Africa's most dominant cycling force over the last decade has been in the downhill mountain bike discipline. Born in Pietermaritzburg, Greg Minnaar has won 3 world titles, a trio of downhill World Cup titles, and has won 10 downhill World Championship medals. He was one of 3 nominees for the Sportsman of the Year at this year's Sport Awards. And it's not often that we get him in the country, so Greg Minnaar now joins us from our Durban studio. A very good morning to you and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, Valen. Thanks for having me here.
Okay, so it wasn't to be at this year's SA Sport Awards. The big one went to Wade van Niekerk, who of course walked away with 3 accolades on the evening. But I mean, it's been quite a good year for you. Silver at Worlds. You're ending the year ranked as the 4th best in the world when it comes to downhill mountain biking. How would you wrap up 2015?
Yeah, I mean, Wade had a great season, and congrats on winning all 3 awards at the Sports Awards. But yeah, I was happy with how things went. I've actually suffered my 2nd thumb injury this year, so I go on Friday for an operation. So for me to just get by the season was great. I had a shot at winning the World Cup. I went all in and ended up crashing. So it was a cool season. I won 2 World Cups, became the most winningest rider, 2nd at World Champs, and it really was a good season. After last season, coming back from a knee injury and kind of being a little bit off pace, I was pretty stoked to be up there mixing it with the guys.
What do you attribute your longevity to? I mean, if we look back at your World Championship titles, I mean, you've won 3 of them. You won the first one in 2003, and then it took 9 years before you won your 2nd one, and you just have been super, super consistent.
I'm not sure if that was a subtle gesture that I'm getting old, but I think it's got. I really just love racing. I'm really competitive. I always just seem to just want to keep going, and I think I'll quit one day when I'm not competitive. But I don't know. I'm really consistent. I've been pretty healthy with regards to injury. As of late, for some reason, my thumbs just want to give up. But I think I've just got this drive to win and this passion. And right now, I'm just really loving riding downhill and being back on my bike.
Where do you think that competitiveness actually comes from, or where does it come from?
Well, I grew up with 2 older sisters, and a father always told me you can never let my sisters beat me. So they're pretty nifty in sport and smart, smart sisters. And I think I've always had that drive to try and beat them ever since I was young. And once I got a bit older and was able to beat them, I had to find new challenges, and that came from racing. And I started racing when I was 5 years old, so it's been in my blood for quite some time now.
Just tell us about the injuries. I mean, you've mentioned your thumbs. You're going to go for an operation on Friday, and injuries are just part and parcel of being a professional sportsman, more so in your case, doing the kind of extreme discipline that you actually do. How do you continue to come back the way that you do?
Yeah, I find treating an injury is just the same as any other challenge, and you're challenged to get healthy, to get back on the bike, and then progressing to winning again. So it's again just a challenge, and I kind of rise to the challenge, and it is hard to recover properly and heal up and take the time off to make sure you're healed. But it's something that needs to be done if you want to continue in sport.
How important was it for you that you were nominated at this year's SA Sport Awards in a discipline that is not often covered in South Africa?
I think it was really cool. It just shows that the government and everyone else, the sports and recreation, are looking to other sports, not only just to the sports that lie in the mainstream. So it shows that kids can now expand out into other sports like skateboarding, mountain biking, surfing, and get recognition in the country.
There has been talk about downhill mountain biking being a part of the Olympics, and every so often you hear this discussion. As a legend of the sport, what would your feelings be about being part of the Olympics?
I don't know if Olympics will be good for the sport or not. Being such a core sport, it's but that's internal issues, and I'm sure they'll be able to figure itself out and where it lies within the sport. I think it's probably got a really good shot if you look at where all sports go on a world basis, that more extreme sports are getting the viewers. And I think Olympic need to kind of mix things up a little bit. I think if you look at X Games, how that's come in and just taken the world by storm and the viewership, I think, I think it's probably got a pretty good shot in the future.
And what's more for Greg Minnaar as we wrap this interview up?
Sorry, I couldn't really hear you.
As we wrap this interview up, what more is in the pipeline for Greg Minnaar?
What's more is recovery right now. It's been a long season. I've been doing a lot of traveling recently, and as you mentioned earlier, I go in for a thumb operation on Friday, recover from that, and then get ready for the season. We're going to start testing in January. New bike, again, just tweaking up things, and so I'm looking forward to getting back on the racetrack. I think, hopefully entering this season a bit healthier than last. I think I can really give it a good bang, so I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful stuff. That's Greg Minnaar. Thank you very much. 3 times downhill mountain biking world champion. Certainly a role model for many young cyclists to follow in his path, and such a humble guy too. We're going to bring you one story before we wrap up this